Hey y'all, welcome to Real Estate Rundown. We're a new channel here on YouTube, and we really look forward to bringing you some great real estate related content, some headlines and news, opinions, and other real estate related topics. Today, I have a couple of really important questions for you. Have you made your mortgage payment this month? Do you know what happens if you don't make your mortgage payment this month? And if you don't make it the next month and the next month? Well, you could end up getting foreclosed upon. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk a little bit about foreclosures and then what happens after the foreclosure if you don't move out. Well, you might just get evicted. Recently, we had the unfortunate assignment to go and evict a mortgagor from a property so that the house could be vacated, repaired, and put back on the market for sale. And if you'd like to go along and see what happened that day with us, then stick around. I'm Tony. This is Real Estate Rundown. Today is December 13th, 2023. Let's get started. Hey, y'all. It's Tony and Joe here. And we're out here today to talk a little bit about evictions because we have an eviction that's going to be taking place right behind us here in this property right back here. Unfortunately, these folks they had a foreclosure, and apparently they have not vacated per the orders of the foreclosure. So we're having to follow through with an eviction on this property. The constable is here. We're going to have to gain entry to the property. It doesn't look like anybody's home, but there are dogs present, and so it's going to be a process today. It's an unfortunate situation. We don't ever like to get involved with these things, but sometimes during the course of our business, this is what we have to do. Joe's going to tell us a little bit more about how this particular eviction came about. Can you tell us, Joe, there what's going on with this one?
Hello, yes, I'm Joe Guerrero, broker for Real Estate Diplomats, and this is one of our assignments. And this property has been in the process for a while. It was postponed 2 months ago, and it got re-noticed. The whole foreclosure process, that's a good conversation that we should have maybe another day. But for today, what's going to happen is we're going to go ahead and evict the current tenant that's in there. They're going to have 2 hours to get as much as we can out. We have the movers here and the constable. Unfortunately, we can't force ourselves in right now because there's dogs, so we're waiting for somebody to help us with the dogs. But a little bit more about, I guess it's a good point right now to talk about the eviction process. So the eviction process, typically the lender or the legal side of the lender will send out a 20-day notice to the borrower. In that 20-day notice, the borrower needs to perform. They need to either work out some agreement with the lender or bring the loan current. If for some reason after that 20 days is not done, then the notice for foreclosure will be filed, and that's when the next phase will come in. Typically, your foreclosures all across Texas are on the first Tuesday of the month, except if that first Tuesday of the month is on January 1st or the 4th of July, then your foreclosure will happen on that Wednesday. Outside of that, through all of Texas, every county is on first Tuesday. If there is no one purchases the property at the auction, the lender buys it again back from the trustee, and they take full possession, and that's when the whole process begins. Fast forward to where we're here for eviction. We're at a very beautiful community here in Dallas. If you need any more help or questions about foreclosures or buying foreclosures, please feel free to reach out to us. Our information is down below. Tony?
Yeah. So I'm wondering a little bit, Joe, about this particular case. Do you know when it was foreclosed upon?
So the current borrower did attempt to make things happen. It's just unfortunate. He did attempt to sell it. It did not work out. It was a little bit extended. It was supposed to be foreclosed back in August, but he must have filed some type of a notice. There's certain things that you could do as a borrower to postpone the eviction process. And from the lender standpoint, it's not very hard for them to just reissue a notice. and it's very common whether they file bankruptcy or some type of a notice, and the lender engages with it. But after a while, if you become a repeat offender, they won't just engage in that. So you've got to, at the end of the day, perform and cure what is delinquent or the deficiency.
Yeah, folks, foreclosure is a really unfortunate situation, and we encourage anybody who gets in trouble with their mortgage to work with their mortgage company, or you could call us. I mean, we'll be glad to work with you and your mortgage company to try to come to some sort of resolve. But in a lot of cases, folks are able to work these things out, extend their stay at the property, continue making payments on a forbearance type of agreement. But sometimes people just bury their heads in the sand and they don't do anything. And when that happens, generally this is the final result. The constable shows up at your house, you're ordered to vacate, and all your stuff is set outside for you to come pick it up. Again, really unfortunate situation. We're going to follow along here this morning and see how things progress. Right now, because there are dogs in the house, we're unable to make forcible entry. So we're just kind of on a hold pattern right now until we can figure out what's going to happen with the dogs. See if these borrowers show up. We'll keep you posted. So we're here at the eviction today in North Dallas. It looks like the borrower did finally show up, and now the process is going to get started with moving things out of the house. A lot of activity going on right now. You can see there's a truck here for moving. These guys are going to be packing their truck full of stuff and vacating the premises here soon. So when it finally comes down to a day like this where the constable shows up and an eviction has to be served, there's generally a lot of things that happen prior to this that would allow for the borrower and the occupant to vacate the premises. But I guess in their efforts to stall the foreclosure and stall the eviction, it's come down to this. And so these folks are going to have to vacate the property. So we did take a look at this property, and it looks like the last time it was sold was back in 2022, which was a time when folks were paying more than list price for properties and typically coming in with cash just to outbid the next buyer. And that may be something that happened here on this property. We'll check again and see what the numbers are on this house. But it's quite possible we're going to see more of this from people who have purchased homes within the last 2 to 3 years and may have got caught up in bidding wars, overpaid for their property, and then suddenly find themselves in mortgage trouble. Again, work with your mortgage company. If you're unable to make payments, they will try and work something out with you. They'll put you on a forbearance agreement. If you can negotiate one of those, forbearance agreement is really kind of where they take the payments and restructure them such that your unpaid balance goes to the end of the note and you can continue paying. So part of the eviction process is to take all the belongings from inside the house and place them out in the yard. I'm not sure who hired the moving truck this morning. I do know that typically when Joe and the banks that he's working for schedule these arrangements, they will typically hire guys who can come in and just help move stuff out to the yard. It's quite possible the borrower may have hired this moving truck in order to get all their belongings on the truck and out of here, but we'll keep watching and see what goes on here. As you can imagine, we're getting some drive-bys and looky-loos. An eviction is probably not something that happens very often in a neighborhood
like this. But here we are today at this eviction at the house right over here, and it's they're currently moving boxes out. Everything seems to be peaceful at this point, so we'll kind of keep an eye on things and see how it goes. All right, so Joe's been in the property here for the last few minutes, and you got a little update for us, Joe? What's going on here?
Yeah, so we have a 2-hour gap, but it seems like we're going to move everything out in about less than an hour. We're going to put everything on the curve. The current previous owner hired a moving company. He's going to move the rest of his remainings. So once everything is taken out from inside the house, we're going to go inside, position ourselves, change the locks, and tour the property and see anything that we need to notice to let the lender know.
Cool. All right, so it seems like there's not a lot of belongings left in the property at this point, and things should be wrapping up here fairly soon. At that point, then we will go in and secure the property, change the locks, take a walk around, and then we'll be able to make note of any damages or any other items that are relevant to the mortgage lender that's taken possession of the property, and we'll let them know so that we can get this property prepared and turned around and back out on the open market soon. All right, as you can see, there's still a lot of activity going on at the eviction house here this morning across the street behind me. They're moving stuff out from the house into the yard. The seller did hire that moving truck right over here. So he's got guys who will help take things from the yard, move it into the truck, and get things out of here. It's a big house, so this may take a little bit longer than what we anticipated, but things are moving along rather smoothly at this point. So yeah, you can see now it is a pretty good sized property there. A lot of stuff out in the front yard. Constable is still present here, and we'll be going in shortly to take a look at the property, secure it, change locks, and do all the formalities. Being evicted from your home is about as stressful a situation as anyone can imagine. Folks, we don't like to have to see anyone go through this, and so if you get in trouble with your mortgage, please reach out to your mortgage company. Reach out to us. We'll be glad to help negotiate on behalf of you with your mortgage company. We've done a lot of that in the past. We can also help by maybe providing an offer for your property to help settle your mortgage debt without a foreclosure on your record, without having to go through an eviction process. So please, if you find yourself in trouble with your mortgage, get some help. Get some help right away so that this doesn't happen to you. All right, so we got just about everything out of the house almost. Waiting on a locksmith to show up so that we can change the locks and get this property secured. So while we're here waiting for the locksmith to show up, it seems as though the former owner is here trying to take things like appliances that are built in. He's currently in there pulling some speakers out of the wall, I guess custom speakers or something like that, which really, in all honesty, shouldn't be an issue here. But as soon as we can get this property secured, then whatever's not out is not out, and he won't be allowed back in, unfortunately. We're still waiting for the locksmith to show up, and it's been probably 30 minutes. We still have one constable on the scene. But meanwhile, until we can secure the property, the former occupant, owner of the property, is continuing to remove items that probably should be part of the property. You notice they were trying to move a gas range out of the kitchen. It's a big custom gas range. Taking some speakers out of the wall. So there's no telling what kind of damage or repairs that we're going to have to address once the property is secure and to get this property ready for the market. So you can see these guys, they're moving the big gas range out, trying to get all the cars out of the garage right now. And
we're about to lock it in.
Yeah,
so he doesn't keep taking stuff.
Yeah. So it looks like we got the garage cleaned out here. All the cars out in the driveway, and they are securing the garage doors now. And expecting the locksmith to show up anytime now, so we can get the rest of this property secured. Okay, so the locksmith just showed up, and so we're gonna get all the locks changed on this property and get it secured once and for all. All right, now we got the house secured, and we're gonna be taking off here soon. So we got guys putting stuff into the moving van. We've got folks kind of hanging around, making sure the house is secure. The guy who owned the property previously, he's left for the moment. He'll probably be back to get some more of his stuff out of the yard. So anyway, it's pretty unordinary event. It's sad that we have to do these kind of things, but again, just gotta reiterate that if you get in trouble with your mortgage, please reach out, get some help before it gets to this point, because this is it's very unsettling. It's no fun to have to be a part of this kind of stuff, but unfortunately, this is the reality of it. And we've got this house. It's we have to report back to the asset manager of the bank who owns it, make some recommendations for market prep, and go from there. So anyway, everybody kind of just be sure and follow us, hit that like button, and we'll bring you some more of this sort of stuff at another time. All right, so we've got another eviction in the books. An unfortunate day, but again, just be sure and reach out to somebody. If you get in trouble with your mortgage, just be sure and reach out to your mortgage company. Call us at the number below. We'll be glad to help you, give you some options for avoiding a foreclosure. And everybody, just be sure and hit that like button and subscribe, please. And we look forward to seeing you next time.
Well, wasn't that interesting? I hope nothing like that ever happens to you. If you found our little field trip to be informative today, or if you really enjoyed this content, then be sure and let us know down in the comments below. We'd like to hear what you have to say so that we can continue to develop our content and make it interesting and viewable for you, the audience. So anyway, my name is Tony. This is Real Estate Rundown, and we're out. Thank you.